took bus throughout high school.
Bro, I can't recall seeing, unless, well, I used to in them Star by bus.
And
So.
I used to ride bus. I never used to ride bus.
Who used to
I
ride
used
bus?
To go.
Excuse
And
you?
you was a good bus, right? Hey,
What are you talking
he's a
about?
regular boy. I pick up,
Wait a minute, what?
a nice little central regular boy. I go and pick up.
I ain't gonna doubt that was a regular bike, but riding bus, I don't know about that. I mean, well, to be honest, I'm a lot when I go in less than a thing, but riding bus, I ain't know about that. Hey, our aviation enthusiasts and health fanatics. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the AviDoct podcast. I'm LaSalle Jacobs, your aviation professional navigating the skies.
And I'm Khadija Jacobs, your friendly neighborhood doctor, here to keep you grounded, entertained, and healthy.
Listen, whether you're soaring through the clouds
or even seeking tips for a healthier lifestyle,
you're in the right place.
Jinx. Together, we'll explore the intersection of aviation and healthcare, bringing you fascinating insights, expert interviews, and a touch of our own life adventures.
So, fasten your seatbelts
and grab your stethoscopes
because it's time for the AviDoct podcast to take flight. Stat.
Hi listeners, good night. Welcome to another episode of the AviDoct podcast. We're still in season 1. I think now we're at episode 5 or so. I kind of lost track.
Yeah, we're at episode 5.
Yeah, we've had so much going on, but we're here once again. No excuses, right? Yeah, we keep doing it. So just to keep you up to date, our last episode was with Swacking Peters, our budding doctor. We had a great time with her. It was such an honor to have my high school friend. And coincidentally, Bishop's High School was having their reunion back in Guyana. Sadly, we missed it, but we had our own little reunion here. Yeah, sorry about that, LaSalle. You're not part of the Bishop's clan.
I'm not missing out on anything.
Yeah, but LaSalle, what has happened since our last episode? I mean, it's been almost 2 months?
Yeah, you know what? A lot actually happened. We experienced the hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that? That was devastating. It was something that we never experienced before, first and foremost.
Truly.
And having power outage for
days.
What was it? 6 or 7?
Yeah, it was
it was about
7
6 days. And to be honest, we literally had to readjust our entire lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
We were hunting for a generator.
Mm-hmm.
We got the generator 2 days before electricity came back.
Yeah, on the 5th day.
Yeah, and it's funny because we got the generator, and I stayed back at the apartment because you guys went down to your friend's house. I stayed back at the apartment and I set it up. I endured the pain. I dealt with the fact that that loud noise would have been coming in all the time.
All night.
I ensured that it was safe before we bring Lakai back to the apartment. Of course, with that, with getting the generator, it was very helpful because we managed to of course get some cool air from the air condition.
Yes,
luckily we
so
came with that portable air condition from New York. That was a lifesaver.
It was.
Unfortunately, we lost all our perishables that were in the refrigerator.
And we had a bad leakage from our from over door.
The water was coming in crazy. We damaged about 5 or 6 towels.
Yeah.
I don't even want to recall
exactly
what it was.
It
was bad. So guys, that was just a little snippet of what happened with us during that time.
And to think that we only had a category 1. I don't want to ever experience
they call
what
it
those
a category
Caribbean
1
countries do experience.
I don't think it was a category 1.
It had to have been a little more.
Yeah, I think it was more than that.
Yeah.
I think it was more than that.
But okay, just a quick question. What would have been your silver lining in that entire hurricane ordeal? My silver lining is it made me appreciate having an emergency fund. So even though it was something catastrophic for us, like the beauty in it is that I now have a great appreciation for having something like an emergency fund at all times, whereby if you go into your pockets to get, like a generator to stock up on food, because there were so many things we had to now buy. We had to get a propane stove, we had to keep buying ice, we had to get lots of petrol. I think we were spending almost what, like
$30.
$40,
Yeah.
37. It was like $37
To fill the
the generator every single day.
Yeah.
So I have a great appreciation for having an emergency fund.
Yeah.
So
I think my silver lining would be better prepare for it.
okay.
So to have stuff put up for such a natural disaster, so to speak, because hadn't we have batteries on standby, our flashlights wouldn't work, and also our phones were charged in the car. That was helpful. But I do think if you are in a state, if you're living in a country that experience these natural disasters, always be prepared for it. You should have an emergency kit on standby, have batteries on standby, have a generator, have a gas container, because that was something you couldn't find in
Anywhere.
Home Depot, in Lowe's, nowhere. Everyone was like taking all these things. So now that we would have experienced our first hurricane, I feel like we have those things now, and we are fully, if not fully, we are at least 80% prepared for the next one. So I think that's my silver lining.
Hopefully we don't have a next one.
I pray to God we don't experience that again.
All right. With that, we have had like a really great takeoff to tonight's episode. And tonight, we're going to be talking about something that everyone has been asking. I don't know what's up with them.
They're trying to be up in our business.
Right. They just want to mind Black people business. But we finally decided to share with our listeners how we met.
Oh.
So guys, sit back, relax, buckle up, because it's going to be a good ride in the sky tonight.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So how we met. It's so surprising that LaSalle and I actually lived 4 corners away from each other when we were in Guyana. And we had never, ever seen each other in person.
That's crazy.
Never.
You know what? Don't even play it off.
Come and say, oh, you see me before.
No, I actually wasn't going to say that. You just never used to take public transportation. Well,
That's a lie.
You said you did, but I took bus throughout high school while I was going to school in Georgetown.
I took bus throughout high school.
Bro, I can't recall seeing, unless, I used to ride them Starbucks bus.
And then you used to ride bus. I never used to ride bus.
Who used to ride bus?
Go.
Excuse you?
You was a good bus ride. Hey,
what are you talking
he's
about?
a regular boy. I pick up,
Wait a minute, what?
A nice little central regular boy. I go and pick up.
I ain't gonna doubt that was a regular bike, but riding bus, I don't know about that. I mean, to get out on my lap when I go in less than thing, but riding bus, I ain't know about that.
I used to just jump in any bus. When I get to the park, my friends and I, we would walk to the park. I would jump in any bus, old, young, whatever. Actually, I avoided the boom buses because they always want you to double up and sit on somebody's lap. And I's a Bishop's girl. I'm sorry. I ain't sitting on nobody's lap.
What you talking about not sitting on nobody? You know how much Bishop's girl jump up on bad man lap?
You're lying now. You're telling lies.
What are you talking about?
But my stop was the very last stop. And I had to take a walk in.
Yeah.
Yours was the second to last stop.
Yeah.
And I just never saw you. So I was so surprised when we met. We're not going to say when we met. I mean, like how we met right now. When we met, and then I realized that you live 4 corners away from me. Yeah. So it's surprising that our paths never intersected while we were in Ghana. But when we were apart, because you had migrated, that's when, like God aligned everything and we met. So tell us, LaSalle, how did we meet?
Well, first of all, allow me this time to thank Mr. Zuckerberg, Mark Zuckerberg, because if it wasn't for him, I don't think I would have met you. Nonetheless, guys, we did meet
Shout
on
out to Mark.
Instagram. We met on Instagram. I was scrolling one day, and if I remember correctly, I saw your picture on Tanasha's profile, and I was like, "Yo, Starkey look good," And of course,
Darky.
I know Tanasha, so I'm like, right away, I jump into Tanasha inbox like, "Yo, how you doing? What's going on? Who is your friend?"
Let's get straight to the point.
Who is your friend?
And at that time, she used to post me a lot.
Yes, yes, you guys were pretty close, and Tanasha was like, "It's such and such, and it's my friend from med school, and what's not." And I hope I'm remembering this story correctly because I don't want Tanasha to come for me at all, but I think I added you on Instagram.
Yeah, and you started liking all my pictures.
Of course. Send a message, bro. I'm not playing around. So I liked all the pictures, and then I think one day I just decided to message you, and I was like, "Hey." Was it hey or was it hey hun?
You know what you said.
What was it?
You know what you said.
What was it? Remind me.
Hey hun.
Yeah.
I see the hun and I'm like, this turn off, roll me
Don't
eye.
play it off. That is
Listen.
what caught your attention. That's the trick in the game. If I just say hey, you'd be like, "Who's this one?" No, or
Creep.
"Oh God, who's he? Look at this one." Hey hun, you're like, always with the hun, something along that line. And Bob's home girl replied.
How did you feel when you saw me reply?
Well, to be honest, I was in my room, right? And when I saw the response, I read it, but I didn't open it. So I was like, I want to she think about my looking at the phone now. I want to open it right away. Let me sit for a few. She must be wondering, why he respond to me and I reply to he? But of course, in my mind, I already knew that I told Tanasha that, yo, I like your friend and thing, so homegirl done put in a word for me.
Yeah, so it's so funny that I think the night, right? I can remember so well. We went to Demico, her and I, and I told she was like, "You know this boy?" She's like, "Which boy?" I show her. She's like, "Yes, I know he. We just talk and so in my mind, I'm like, we just talk. I think this boy hustling me and my friend. Anyway. She's like, no, I know you from Kokwani, and what she said? She's
The
like,
top shatter players first of all. Don't skip past though.
Kokwani.
Any Kokwani miles are done.
Wow. And you know something? He has never taken me to Kokwani. And it's now almost 7 years since we've been together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I never touched Kokwani. Anyway, it's like, yeah, I know him from Kokwani. And so I was like, so what do you think? She's like, talk to you. Because I had just gotten out. Well, not just, but I was fresh out of a long relationship at that point. And, well, my friend was just trying to get me to talk to anybody at that point. But I wasn't really responding to people and so on. So it was like you were the first person where it was like, I guess I could just have a conversation, And then after I responded, I remember not going through your photos for a while, just texting him and not even searching his profile. And so one day I looked him up on Facebook and I showed her. I was like, oh my God. So he was on this ATV, nice shoulders and thing. My had hair there. No, I know what's going on. But sorry, I had to throw that job. But when I saw him, she was like, Cuddy, what you gotta think about the boy screw up your face and still look better than your ex? Man, I could have died. Like, I remember this so vividly. And I think, like, when she said that, I was like, all right, I think I'm gonna give this boy a little shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't like how you talk in the story and you omitting a lot of information.
Like
Guys,
what?
imagine this girl talking to me. Love off Batman already. Don't like Batman. And it's what, about a week into us talking? Homegirl message me. Say, where you live? What part of South you live? Big fireman, she asked us, what part of Southeast live? I'm like, bro, I live in New York. Oh, so you don't live in Guyana? I'm like, what kind of congalong I get myself
I was so oblivious to that. Like,
that was the craziest question ever.
Yeah.
But here, the sweetest part of the story. She playing it off. Nice and calm. Home girl ain't taking no bad up, no nothing. You by got cross all the T's and dot all the I's.
correct.
One night we talking. 2 weeks into the conversation. 2 weeks into the relationship, or I should say at this point, 2 weeks into conversing, because
It
at no
wasn't a
point
relationship.
did I say we were together.
Up to
At no
now,
point
you
did I
never
ask her.
asked me to
Yeah,
be
that is
together.
true. That is true. But you
So-
married me. So hush your mouth. Anyway, guys. Never tell this girl we there. Never ask you for that. I just talking to the girl, you know, Lauren.
Smooth
She
operator,
in.
guys.
Nice time. One night we coming off the phone. I love you. Her? Wait a minute. What you just said?
We ain't gonna speed past that. Like, you just
We're not gonna
say what you
speed
just
past
said.
it. Just say what you just said.
Honestly,
Home girl
no.
say it. I hung up
Here-
the phone.
No, I was ashamed. Hero. It followed my mouth. Listen, I was accustomed. So because I've been in a relationship so long, when I'm talking to somebody like the way we were talking, I was so accustomed to just saying "love you" at the end.
Caddy.
So that night, I swear to God, it fell out my mouth.
Caddy.
I'm not saying I didn't mean it. Listen. I think I'm tying up myself right now.
Exactly.
So I didn't mean it, but I mean it. You understand?
I don't.
It's like
I honestly don't.
I wouldn't have said I love you consciously.
Okay.
Because at that time it was too fresh to say I love you. It was too fresh to know that I love you. You understand what I'm saying? But I had liked you at that time.
Okay.
You know, you were kind of smooth. It was giving. So, man, just take the love you, man. I don't know if it's somehow. But, what gave me the creeps was a morning.
Anyway, guys. So
Let me talk.
this is what's gonna
Let
happen.
me talk.
I remember our relationship.
A morning, I wake up and checking my message. So this time we're just speaking on Instagram. Establish that he lives in New York. I'm in Guyana. At this point, I'm 1 week deep.
Listen,
is like
a
shit.
disclaimer
Alright.
before you even say it. I'm a country guy.
Okay.
So I've been around fowls, I've been around goats, I've been around cows, I've been around pigs. I just want to say that so the viewers know exactly
What's
where this stemmed from.
okay? The boy messaged me cockle. I look at this thing like, what kind of hand I get here now? Like, honestly.
Hey, not hen, foul cock, welcome to you, but hen. Get
What
it
kind
right.
of rooster? What kind of rooster I get now? Because, like, at no point I thought that I went on a farm and pick up anybody. So why this guy messaging me cockle-doo-doo-doo early in the morning? Honestly, I think that was a little turn off for me, but he redeemed himself because, you know, he
Of course.
laughed it off.
First of all, it was
and
no
talk,
laugh off.
talk,
It's
talk.
justifiable. First off, she had school and we were on the phone late.
Right.
So instead of just saying, hey, good morning, I sent numerous messages and I got no reply. So that was one of like the alarm message or something. I don't know what to say, but it was sort of something along that line.
It was funny as hell. I was like, this boy is so corny. So corny. So after homeboy come with the little rooster calling and stuff like that, you know, he talking. And then I was like, you know what? What are you trying to get to? Like, what do you want? Just be straight up. And then he was like, I remember this. You're gonna be a doctor. Me, I'm gonna be a pilot. That's a good combination. What do you say?
AviDoct. AviDoct. You better let him know.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's how we got AviDoct actually.
There you go.
Avi from aviation and Doc from doctor.
Yeah. Homegirl said, but you wind me up for a second there. Because homegirl was like, listen, don't come around me funny. Just tell me what's your intentions? I read this message and I'm like, who she think she talking to? I read it again. I'm like, I gotta make sure I understand exactly what she's saying, cause I don't want to misread. Cause it's a smart girl you're talking to, a doctor thing. You know, you ain't want something too stupid. I'm like, well, listen. You're a nice person. I think you got a good head on your shoulder. You're studying to be a doctor. I'm studying aviation. So, you know, I want to see how far this is going to go. And we was like, all right, so you're serious about this? I'm like, yeah, I am. And that's where we ended up, guys.
Yeah.
Here we are today.
That's such a weird situation.
Yeah.
But then what really made the difference was when we decided that it's now time to meet in person, because I was technically living on the phone.
Yeah.
And this boy is a catch an attitude if I want to go out with my friends, and it's time for him to talk to me on the phone. And you know what? Long distance relationships are so difficult, but it can work. It definitely could work because we have made it work. I know there are lots of times when, because I was accustomed to, you know, just going out, doing things my way and stuff like that, not quite realizing that having a long distance relationship would require some time away from those things to, you know, like put in that kind of quality time into the relationship and to nurture the relationship, because really and truly all we have is a phone and a camera to keep things going. We can't meet, we can't, you know, go and have coffee, we can't go and have a drink. Like, that's our way of building the relationship, especially in the new season of it.
Yeah.
And so after about 3 months, we decided to meet. At this point, I think now we're at cruising altitude.
Yeah.
Because we're about to set some things in stone right now. So tell us, Captain LaSalle Jacobs, how far in the sky we are and where we're going to be soon.
Well, our final destination, of course, is how we met. And at this point, we are, like Khadija mentioned, at cruising altitude. And while we're cruising, allow me to say, at no point are we encouraging anyone else to do this, because it could have been tragic. It could have had a terrible outcome. Luckily, I was the nicest guy she's ever met in her life. So it was 3 months after we started talking, and Khadija's dad was getting married.
Yeah.
And she said to me, hey, you know, I want to come for my dad's wedding. I'm like, dad's wedding? You said you
Don't really talk to my dad.
don't really talk to your dad that much. So how you just come in for his wedding, not knowing, oh my God, your own intentions. Nonetheless, she was coming for her dad's wedding. Caddy got on a plane and said, I'll be there. When was it? July?
Mm-hmm.
It was July
17th.
17th, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll be there on the 17th. I'm like, all right, cool. You went out, buy a new bed sheet, sheets matching the curtains in the room and everything. It's a nice time, and she come and soak she down with licks.
So cool.
Don't talk up now cause you're on podcast. Don't talk up now cause you know you're ready.
I remember being on that plane, and I'm like, so I traveled with a friend, Charis at that time.
Yeah.
And I was telling her, like, I was so nervous. You know, I'm going to meet this guy for the first time. Mind you, I'm sorry, my family. They had no clue I was going to go to this guy.
Yeah.
Like, I was meeting this guy.
Yeah.
They just know, you know, we were talking on the phone, but I mentioned nothing about you.
And it's funny
I totally eliminated that.
What if my intentions were not pure?
Right.
And
catfished.
You were ready to come over and risk it all. Because in all fairness, had you gotten here or had you gotten in New York and I said to you, you can't stay by me.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, we established that I was staying with you before I came.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, like, what if things changed?
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I said to you, you can't stay here.
Mm-hmm.
You had nowhere else to go.
Pretty much, no.
You know, as much as you were saying you're coming for your dad's wedding and all that, he didn't even have a place of his own.
No.
You know, so there's so many things that could have gone wrong.
Yeah.
And I encourage others to always know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
Be mindful of where they live. Be mindful of whom they're living with.
And
be
who
mindful
they
of
are.
their lifestyle.
Yeah.
And in all general, like you said, who they are.
Yeah.
Because this could have been so bad for you had I not been someone that was well brought up.
Right.
Had I not been a responsible young man.
Yes.
Had I not been so cutesy. Had I not been so demure. Yeah, but you know, I've you know, been responsible for quite some while, and I accommodated Khadija well when she came.
Yeah.
You know, I ensured that I took her around. She enjoyed New York, enjoyed her stay when she came that first time. We did the Brooklyn Bridge, we did the Pier, we went to Manhattan. You know, we did a lot.
Man, spend up your money.
Yeah, all my little money that I had. But you know, we created a lot of memories. We got to know each other on a different level.
Yeah.
You know, instead of just being on phone all the time. And she tend to I think that led to her understanding exactly who I am and what it's like being around me.
Yeah.
I think we had our first argument. Well, not first, but in person.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had our in-person argument, our first fallout. We learned how to deal with that. You know, so all of that was more or less an experience. And this is why today, because of where we are not saying, oh, not to date someone online.
Yeah.
But of course, our outcome is one that's positive.
Yes.
But not everyone will have the same outcome.
Right.
Because we've seen instances where
Swindler. Yeah.
Yep, we've seen instances where people would have been kidnapped, where people were killed, people were murdered because of meeting or going out of their way to meet someone that they had no
Especially
prior.
not letting your family know where you
are. Yeah.
I really erred there, but I guess I was just too young and just, you know when you're young, you know everything and you think you know everything. And I felt this like false sense of security in my mind. Luckily, like you said, it turned out good. But guys, like if you're ever doing a long distance relationship, ensure when you're traveling, you either, like send your location now, or you let someone know,
exactly where
you're
you are.
going to be.
Yep. So as we're cruising right now, allow me to ask you, during your first meet with me, what was that experience like? What did you take from that?
So I'm gonna start from the very first time I saw you in person, which I was walking through the airport
The
door.
airport arrivals.
Yeah, I was like, I hope this buying too short. I hope you ain't got no 1 foot, cause trust me, you staying right there with your 1 foot. I'd pass you straight.
Yo, I
Me and
remember.
my
You
friend.
remember when we were at the pier, and I was like, Bakari, what if I used to walk like this? what if you saw me? This is how I walked. Yeah, you were
I don't
cracking
know what
up.
I would have done. But after first meeting you, I was like, I think this is something that I could continue pursuing. You were a little hot headed. Well, you still kind of are, but it was like, you know what? This guy is really, really nice. Like very romantic, very considerate. It's like I felt like a princess at that time. I felt like you really put a lot into my experience in ensuring that I don't have the typical Guyanese experience where people feel like, oh, they can't do this, they can't do that when they're at people's home and stuff like that. And I think I was locked in from the first night I came.
The first night.
Not forgetting the unmentionables.
Listen, guys, should give it up the first night.
Oh, shut up.
The first night,
Me
bad
auntie and
man
uncle
get
now
it.
this thing.
Auntie and uncle know
Pretty
you're
much.
a mother now. Yeah,
much.
yeah. The first night, I got it.
God, a
I got
shame.
it. I got it, man.
Whatever.
It was good. um, but with all of that, before we start preparing for our descent, allow me to say that during her first visit, she actually got the opportunity to meet my late aunt, may her soul rest in peace, Gulliana Jacobs.
Yeah.
And I think it was an honor for her, because my aunt was just the sweetest person.
Yeah, she was.
She met Caddy and she was like, "You could cook, what you could make," and she had her doing it in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Mind you, I couldn't tell my aunt that the first morning after I soak home, girl, don't good and proper. Give shit good. She enjoyed it.
Hi, stop.
Nice time. Next morning, she gonna get up and fry banana for me.
Planting.
Cut up the banana neat and nice. I know we spoke about this in the first episode. Was it the first? No, the second episode. I think it was.
I think it's the first.
Whichever. We mentioned it, but that's how it happened. I think the sex confuffle she brain.
Total
She wake up the next
confunction
morning and do
nonsense.
total confunction nonsense. But yeah, guys, I'm happy that she got the opportunity to meet my aunt. They had a nice conversation. They spoke about things that I guess any person meeting for the first time would discuss. Where you from, your family background, who don't know who, where know you from, and all of these things.
Education.
There you go. What's your long-term aspirations and stuff like that? And of course, my aunt was impressed with the fact that she was studying to be a doctor. She was in the medical field, and anybody would. I was impressed by it. So I feel like it's a prestigious job that you study pretty hard to get where you are. And because of those extensive long nights of study and putting in so much energy into accomplishing that bachelor's degree or that certification or that career path, you ought to feel honored. You ought to embrace that level of respect that people are rendering out to you when that or when they mention stuff like that about your career. So every time you speak of it, you would say, "Oh, I don't know why. But this is why, because it is a respectable career path, and people respect doctors for who they are and the amount of studies that they would have put into being where they are today.
I understand, but I don't know. I guess because I'm in it, it feels like nothing. And when you're surrounded by people in the medical field, like, I've been majority of the time coming in school and stuff like that, it's like pretty normal.
Yeah.
So when somebody's be like, "Oh, should I call you doctor or whatever?" I'm like, "No, that could be just fine. Like, you don't need to do it." Should I change that? I don't know, but it's whatever.
Yeah.
I'm cool with how it is. So since we're on approach and we're just about 10 minutes from landing into our finest destination of love and AviDoct, Guyana's in the pop the balloon phase of love and the challenges and relationship finding and stuff like that, right? I want you. So we're gonna come up with 4 ways to successfully date someone in pursuit of true love, right? And from that, we're gonna take our cheers moment. Actually, no, I can't tell you where to take your cheers moment from, but I want us to give our listeners like 4 dead facts of finding your true love and dating, truly dating. So LaSalle, I'm going to start with one way of, like seeking true love, dating, like genuine dating.
Yeah.
I would say be yourself. Oftentimes, I find that when you are truly authentic, you tend to form genuine attractions and connections with people. Sometimes when you put on this facade, it doesn't take too long for that facade to be washed away and your true self come out. So from the beginning, I'd say just like be yourself. Let this person know like, hey, I brawling, or hey, I's a little doll,
Yeah.
or like, hey, I'm Miss Prim and Proper. I don't bend over and that kind of stuff. Like just be authentic. What do you say?
I agree with what you said, but I think for number 2, I'm gonna go with communicate clearly your intentions.
Okay.
You have to at all times be clear and direct with your pure intentions with regards to a relationship when you are approaching it. I know some people tend to go through phases. Like one person would have a different they would have levels to this relationship thing. Like some people would say they date, then they meet relatives, then they confirm the relationship, which means they go exclusive. Some people prefer to just talk for a week and then go exclusive. So you have to know exactly where your partner is, communicate that with them, and you guys can have a mutual understanding as to what's your next step. Once you guys can meet each other halfway and come to a mutual agreement, I think that would be ideal. So you communicate those terms clearly, and that would lead to like what happened with us, where you came straight to the point and said, hey, let me know your intentions. What is it you're looking for? What is it you want? What are you hoping to gain from this?
Yeah.
And
point
blank, exactly.
Time, yeah.
Point blank, once I said what it was, you were like, all right, well, this is something I can work with. I'll accept it. Let's make this happen.
Right.
Had I come with, oh, you know what? I just want to talk to you. I want to get to know you. I want to have fun. I want somebody to go out with when I come to Guyana. Then you know already that this buy ain't up to no good,
Right.
So I might as well just not tolerate or not entertain it altogether.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do.
Okay. For me, I'd add another one of staying positive and patient.
That's a good one.
You have to trust the process as you go along the relationship, especially given that ours was primarily a long distance relationship. We had to trust the process that at the end of medical school, I know that I'm going to migrate or he is going to come back to Guyana.
Yeah.
Like we had to have a system in place and trust it. Also, like in anything, there would have been some setbacks for us in our relationship. There would have been things that when it really happened, I'm like, do I really want this relationship? And so at that point, you have to now pivot. Okay, can I stay positive and like work around this? Or do I just jump ship and leave? Because I mean, like you can't jump ship and leave at every setback that you have in life.
Yeah.
There's some things that you can work on, you know. I remember
Most definitely.
having an issue with you over the phone. I think at that time I just didn't understand that you wanted time with me. Could you have been more flexible? Definitely.
Yeah.
But you were like very stringent on wanting to talk and quality time and blah blah blah. And my friend was like, Levy.
Is this the same friend that said techie?
Listen, stop. I ain't gonna get into the
Wow.
If it's one thing I don't do is talk fool. And we're friends say more. Okay? And in my mind I'm like, why am I leaving this guy because he wants more quality time with me? Like, is this really? And then I started thinking, okay, is he trying to be controlling or is he just like really want to invest time into our relationship? Like, I had to now sit and decipher what was going to work for me and what didn't. And I stayed positive. And I was patient. So did you, because I'm sure there are many times when you were like, I don't love this freaking girl. I'm not typically the easiest to deal with. And yeah, like it did work after just being patient about it.
Well, I'm happy you got a positive outcome from that. Yeah, well, for me, I think the final one would be compatibility. Confirming that you're compatible or you mirror the lifestyle of the person which you're pursuing. For me, I felt like with us, I knew that I was ambitious. I knew that I would be pursuing a career while you're doing the same.
Yeah.
You know, you find sometimes women outgrow men because of the inability to prove that you are seeking more than what the naked eyes can see.
Right.
You know, some women would be pursuing their career and then another guy comes along or a guy comes along and he has just a job. You know, when they start their career and they start making more money and stuff like that, women tend to outgrow that relationship. And it don't always happen, but it does happen. The possibility exists. So for me, I feel like you seek compatibility. You ensure that you and this person are compatible with each other. You are willing to work and grow together, which is exactly what we're working on. You know, we started a family. We're gonna buy a house over here. We bought houses in Guyana, and you know we're just pushing from this point onward. So we're growing together, and we knew these are things that we would have been working on from the inception. You know, you could have tell that, hey, you know, this guy is a go-getter. This guy knows what he wants, and he works towards what he's trying to achieve. And I could have told from the inception also that, hey, this is a hard working girl. You know, this is a girl that's dedicated to her studies. She is pursuing a prestigious career to be a doctor, and if she's capable of accomplishing that, then hey, I ought to respect that, you know. So I think our level of compatibility was there from the inception.
I guess so. But I want to ask you something. How many more minutes we have to land in?
Yeah, we're about to land.
Okay, before I go, could you tell me, how's your flight so far, LaSalle?
Well, the flight is going pretty smooth. And I hope that we don't encounter any turbulence right now because this question seemed to be very serious.
No, LaSalle, like I'm really enjoying it. The atmosphere is great. The memories we're sharing, it's lighting something, fire in me, you know. It's really a joy to recollect our experience. Of course, we really can't share everything
Yeah, of
in
course.
detail because it's just a lot. But I am so enjoying this flight on Flight AviDoc today.
Most definitely. It was an amazing flight. I must say that because the flight is so short, we're not flying to Dubai. We're just hopping off from Georgetown to Trinidad, and it is a short flight. So, that was just our snack moment where we just shared a few things where you can munch on and, sip on something whilst you enjoy the flight with us. Nonetheless, as we approach our descent right now, I hope that Khadija can ask her question and we can take it from there.
Okay, what is one thing you would have taken away? What is one memorable moment of our dating relationship?
A memorable moment. You're taking me down
Our
memory
dating
lane.
phase. Yeah.
I feel like we have so many that I
Just
can
one.
share. But I think since we're tapping on our early phase, I feel the most memorable experience that I can say I enjoyed and I remember every single time was when I flew back to Guyana for Carnival, the first Carnival in Guyana. I know everyone, everyone share different views as to whether they'll call it Carnival or whether it's Mashramani or we should stick to our own culture. And I must say I'm culpable of that. I feel like we should stick to Mashramani, and not embrace another country's festivity, carnival. It's like it's coming from another country.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, it's happening beyond carnival seasons, but beyond Mashmani seasons. So we'll call it carnival. I went back, and of course, we went with your friends. We went out with all of your medical friends, and we had a grand time. I feel like we went to a number of shows. I experienced you on a different level, meaning we danced a lot. We at that time consume a lot of alcohol.
Right.
Experience life on a different spectrum,
Right.
and I feel like that was one of my
Best
memorable moments with you.
Yeah, you didn't know I could dance. I look like a
I
prima
go
proper
wind up so
girl.
much.
I got some moves. I have some moves. Yeah. So that indeed was very memorable, and it was still very young in the relationship. So you could be right when you said that. I said I love you, and I meant it.
You meant it
I
from the
think I
get,
did,
man.
Yeah.
You're just trying to play it off.
I did mean it. I did mean it. I did mean it. I did mean it. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have safely landed at our destination of the AviDoc podcast. The Get to Know You, the How Did We Meet episode. The one that you guys have been waiting for the longest. Well, it's finally out here. So we're gonna have our cheers moment, and for those of you who don't know, our cheers moment is one moment during our episodes that we can take away and really what really has resonated with us throughout the episode. And for a cheers moment, we use nothing but the best to cheers with, and you can't go wrong with some good Eldorado rum. As per normal, we are still on our 12 years old aged Eldorado rum.
Yeah.
We, even though we're not heavy drinkers and stuff like that, we really take to this one. We do have a few of the others that we haven't opened as yet, but here also we have the sample pack that these are the ones that we enjoy the most. Every time we travel, we ensure that, hey, we gotta stock up on our Eldorado. So guys, you get your Eldorado too. So today we're going to cheers to AviDoc podcast. LaSalle, what has been your cheers moment for today?
All right, guys. As your captain, allow me to share my cheer moment as the fact that I still and I will continue to say that in no way are we encouraging or advising the younger public or the younger generation to go out and explore love dangerously. Ensure that you are, like Kadi just said, sharing your location, sharing your every move with a close family member or with a friend, someone that can inform anyone about your whereabouts should things not go right.
Yeah.
In today's society, we don't know who is who. And if you are pursuing someone, get to know them, get to know their background, do your due diligence, and ensure that upon meeting with them, it's in a safe environment. It's somewhere that's conducive to you being protected at all times.
Right.
So for me, as young ladies, and not just ladies, I'm speaking to the men also, as young men, because women can be setting you up for failure. Women can be setting you up for in dangerous situations too.
Yeah.
So be cognizant of the fact that things can go wrong.
Yeah.
Understand that you are meeting someone that's a stranger. Always class them as a stranger until you get to know them truly.
Yeah.
Our outcome led to where we are today. However, this don't always be the outcome.
That's right.
Do I love that this was our outcome? Of course. Here we are today sharing our stories with you guys on the AviDoct podcast. And I'm proud that here's where we ended up, on a flight to love, success, and happiness.
Yeah, that's so nice. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Stiff.
All right, so Khadija, share with us what your cheer moment for this episode is, and what was your takeaway from today's episode?
My cheers moment is going to be let your intentions be known from the beginning, or ask what the intentions are. I am a stickler for knowing what you're getting into. I always want to know. And it's a good thing and a bad thing, because I remember, like, for my birthday and stuff like that, I typically don't do surprises because I always want to know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen. I like to plan. I just like being in control of my own life. So if I know the intentions early, then I can decide if this is something I want to do or if this is something I don't want to do, you know? So I'm going to say, like, let your intentions be known. I'm going to keep that as my cheers moment, letting your intentions be known from the beginning. And because I was very straight up with it, I knew that this is something we can do and this is something I can do. And 7 years later, we're still doing it.
Yeah, so that's amazing. Cheers to that. All right, listeners. This is your captain speaking, LaSalle Jacobs, and I want to thank you for flying with us on the AviDoct podcast today to our final destination, which was getting to know us. It's our final stop of our love life, and altogether, I would call this destination the AviDoct lifestyle.
AviDoct lifestyle, I love that.
Yeah, the AviDoct lifestyle. So, again, we had a smooth flight from beginning to where we are now.
Yeah, it's not the end.
Yes, and it was a smooth landing, a turbulent-free flight. We want to encourage you to continue listening to our podcast as we grow our platform. I ask that you guys go out and like, subscribe, follow us on all platforms. We are on Instagram as the AviDoct Podcast. We are on YouTube as the AviDoct Podcast. You guys can go ahead, like, share, subscribe, and just help us to grow our platform and reach a lot more of the audience out there. You can follow Khadija on her Instagram page. What's your Instagram page?
I think it's Dr. Imogen.
Yes, you can follow her, Dr. Imogen, on Instagram, and you can follow me on last.jacobs or last_Jacobs. So yeah, we look forward to hearing from you guys. You guys can email us on our email at the avidoctpodcast@gmail.com. Send us your questions.
Not the AviDoct. It's just AviDoct Podcast.
Yeah, avidoctpodcast@gmail.com. Send us your questions. You can reach out to us and we'll respond as soon as we can. But again, thanks for flying with us on this flight, and we hope to see you on the next flight.
Yes, it was great having you guys. Bye. Thank you so much.